Hello and welcome to the promised Nintendo Switch 2 Direct discussion, and it's such a big deal that we brought in Mr. Randy Isbelle for this one.
Yeah, Mr. Nintendo. That's what you
Yes,
brought in.
exactly. And also Marc Morrison is here as well.
Howdy.
I'm your host Sean Garmer. As usual, we did do a regular episode since we were gone for the supposed to be 2 weeks, but it wound up being 3 weeks. So you could find that on YouTube or on the feeds as well. We talked all the news from this week and then kind of caught up on some of the big stuff that we missed. So yeah, for sure we will be talking all things Nintendo Switch 2 on this abbreviated episode here. Hopefully all y'all watch that thing. If you haven't, I would definitely recommend going to see it. It's an hour worth your time. Even though some of the important information was left off.
All of the information?
Yeah, that's correct. I wonder if it's because they didn't want to deliver any bad news at all. What did you guys think? Marc, what did you think about the Direct in general?
I don't think it was particularly great, and I think that's kind of echoed by a lot of people on my Twitter feed. Like this is it, or some stuff looked good, but some of their stuff they introduced was like, what? Like, you're really doing this when other companies have tried and failed or don't care anymore?
Yeah, it's also it was very interesting. Like some of the games that we thought were gonna the major one we thought was going to be here, right, is not here. No 3D Mario. Instead, we got a 3D Donkey Kong, which kind of solidifies the whole. They've really made a big deal about Donkey Kong this year with the him being added to the Nintendo Switch world and all that stuff. So I think that kind of makes sense in a way.
Until they had the Donkey Kong Rap version 2.0, I'm not interested.
Yes. Well, I mean, what do you think, Randy? I guess of the whole thing in general.
I mean, honestly, that we're going to get into discussions about the negatives that were in there, but I'm more positive on it than Marc was. Yes, a lot of the stuff that they showed is not stuff that I'm ever going to use, and that's for the most part for the internet people. But you have to remember the large base of people that play the Switch. Most of them are not going to even watch that Direct, and they're going to absolutely love that video setup and the chat functions and stuff. My sister is in town and she has 3 daughters, and I can guarantee you if we both end up with a Switch 2 at some point, that's going to be a great way for them to stay in touch and communicate if it works like it did. And they're not going to worry about frame rate. They're not going to worry about any of that. So that kind of stuff works great for the casual person. And again, I really think that they did a really good job of showing that, hey, third-party companies actually want to work with us again. And it turns out to be a pretty good launch lineup for them, mostly because of the third-party games that are going to be on it. So it's not a slam dunk, grand slam kind of a direct or a launch for the Switch 2, but all in all, I think they hit the key points that will get people excited. And as you said, they hit the stuff that will make people less excited. So overall, the direct was fun.
Yeah. For me, I think, there wasn't the Final Fantasy IX remake that I was hoping we would get after they teased us with the website. But
they even teased you on the direct. So
yeah, that Bravely Default First Fairy remaster. They knew what they were doing there.
Yes, you were not the only one that thought that during.
Yeah, I was like, I was good. I was happy to hear that Ben Hansen also thought the same thing. I was like, okay, I wasn't the only one. But honestly, it's I think the Donkey Kong game looks great. As being a Donkey Kong fan, I was kind of happy to see that he is going to get his own game, and it looks really fun. He's just going to destroy stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can go wrong with that at all. Some of the things that they show with the the Switch that are going to be like, you know, big features. I don't really care about the chat thing unless I'm happy to be using Game Share, which with something that we talked about, we're going to talk about, we might be using a lot more of.
You're gonna have to.
Maybe. But it is interesting that Nintendo finally decided to like basically bring out their own version of Discord, essentially, to have on your Switch. And then you can watch all your friends 4 at a time play other games also, which is interesting.
In beautiful 10 frames a second.
That was
beautiful 10 frames a second, exactly.
And that might be generous. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I wonder how bad that's gonna bug out for people, or people are just gonna get knocked off constantly playing that.
Yeah.
Because I imagine it's not gonna run anywhere near as great as they're trying to say.
I mean, it didn't even run great in the trailer. So
no, and honestly, I think it was it MinMax that I was watching that basically said that. It was like, give them kudos for not hiding the fact that those other screens do not run at fantastic frame rate. They didn't try to hide it or fake the video like we've seen in a lot of other things. They went, hey, this is exactly what you're gonna get. So don't expect anything else.
Like sometimes it's gonna work, sometimes it might not work at all.
You can see a screenshot of what Sean is playing, and then
you guys gonna pre-order that camera?
Exactly. No, especially because you don't need it. You can hook up any USB-C camera that you want, apparently. So I could technically use the camera that I'm using right now. What?
It won't have Nintendo branding.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that camera is not great. Like the fact that they're even charging $50 for that's probably not what that costs, you know. But I mean, they did introduce that they're gonna have like the game share thing, so you can technically share your games, I guess, similar to what you do already, Mark, on the PlayStation. So
yeah, but still gotta like log in every 14 days, right?
Yeah, you do. But I mean, you could technically finish the game in that time. So I wondered if they were
you just rent it at this point.
Yeah. Which I feel like people are going to be doing a lot of, because one of the things that I guess I should mention that the first thing they did not talk about is the price of the system, which is $449 for the base system. If you get the packet with Mario Kart World, it is $500. If you buy Mario Kart World separately, it is $80 digitally and $90 physically. There will be other games like Donkey Kong apparently is $70. So it's kind of the same thing they've already been doing, where some things will get the premium price of $80 and some will get the not so premium, I guess, of $70, which is still pretty high. How much sticker shock do you have now of this is what games are going to cost?
Scary.
Right.
It's scary. It's more scary now that I can guarantee you it is almost locked that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be $100. Yeah, especially after this direct.
It won't be $100. I mean, it might be 80, but
no, they're gonna go look what Mario could do. We're better than Mario.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of deluxe edition that's going to cost $100.
Oh yeah, that'll be for sure. Yeah. But I just mean like base GTA 6 will be 70 or 80.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think GTA 6 will know. 2K will definitely, Take-Two will definitely go out there and charge at least 80 base for it now, because Nintendo has basically told you, yeah, it's cool, you could do that.
I guess we should say if all of this goes flying off the shelves as we all kind of expect it to, then they will. But if all of a sudden like Nintendo is struggling to sell Mario Kart because it's $80, then maybe that'll scare things off. But we expect Mario Kart to fly off the shelves.
I don't think Mario Kart 9 and Mario Kart World is gonna have a problem selling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They know what they're doing because they know that's the game that will sell, and then people won't buy. They may not buy another game, but they will buy that.
Yeah, they know people are going to complain and complain and complain while they reach and grab their wallet and hand out that $80, and
or they'll just wait until like Christmas or like the the June or July sale and just buy crap then.
That's
where
if Mario Kart ever goes on sale. Like,
I mean, I just bought Mario RPG for $20 at GameStop, new.
Right, so, but that's physical. I'm talking about if you buy your stuff digital, it's never going on.
But still,
they
knock off at least $20, so it'd be 40. I mean, currently, so knock it down to 60.
Right. Yeah, they'll knock it down to 60 or 70, or be like, oh yeah, it's at the budget price of $65. Right. Like what they usually do. So like their big sale is the game is $45.
Yeah.
And you should be happy about it. So it's obvious that this is why Donkey Kong is not 80. Right? They don't want to cut that game off at the knees.
Right.
So they chose Mario Kart because they know that is the highest selling game on the Switch 1, and it's going to be the package title, so you can get it cheaper, and then you can have your sticker shock later when we have the 3D, the actual new 3D Mario or whatever.
I mean, are you guys going to get the pack-in or not?
I feel like you have to now, right? Like, who doesn't want to save $30 on that game?
I mean, that assumes you want the game, and I'm kind of indifferent towards it.
I mean, I will say the game looks great. Like, I mean, I don't know about the free roaming stuff, right? Like
that's the question. Is like you can free roam, and my question is why? Like, is there anything to do? Or
I bet there's going to be secrets that are showing costumes and stuff that you can get. I'm sure some of those are hidden. I'm sure there's hidden characters that are going to be throughout that whole world that you can unlock.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah, so. Yeah. No, I mean, I think they know better. Like, they know that they can't just make a barren open world that has nothing for you to go find when you're free roaming. Like, they have to provide you with reasons as to why you need to go out there, aside from just going to the next track.
Right.
Like, I mean, Forza Horizon 5 is out there to basically take all the notes from on why that game is successful.
And I'm sure a lot of people will go into free roam and make up their own races and come up with goofy tracks with their friends and stuff. So there's plenty of reasons for the free roam.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing because they can also add on to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's definitely something they could put DLC and give you more things to do as they learn from what people go and do with the free roaming and things like that. So, like, I think that's I mean, what else was there for them to do with Mario Kart at this point?
Add the feather back in.
Yes.
Now the feather could be really usful in free roam. So
and now that's true.
This is the perfect game to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of the? I guess with all the features that they kind of showed off with this, which you could see obviously with some of these games. The screen is 7.9 inches. So almost 8 inches. 100 it goes up to 120 FPS, even in handheld, but it does drop down to 720 if you do. But it does go to 1080p 60 on handheld, and then obviously you can go up to 4K with the dock. It has a fan inside the dock that keeps the system cool. So that kind of stuff.
It probably needs it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was happy with that. Like, I did not think that they would do the 1080 screen with 60 FPS. So for me, that's already, they have justified at least the $400.
Yeah, spec wise, I thought they nailed it as far as an upgrade to the original Switch. So that's exactly what you want, is things to upgrade and get better. It's not ever going to be on par with where Microsoft and Sony is at the moment, but I thought they closed the gap with a lot of the stuff that they showed. So I mean,
I
I'm
think
very
for
happy
sure
with what they did there.
if
What
you're a
about the
third
OLED
party,
screen?
that
Well, that's
they'll
in 2
sell you
years.
that in like
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Anybody that thought the OLED was going to be a launch thing doesn't understand that Nintendo has proven and proved 37 times in this direct that they are not afraid of making money. Like, they know what they're doing to get the money out of your pocket.
yeah. I mean, they've done it for such a long time where they do all these refreshes of a console, like, you know. But
or
it's
creating a game to show you off all the new cool stuff for the Switch, and it's kind of like an instruction to everything on the Switch too. And it's everyone that I watched went, "Oh, cool! It's their version of Astrobot," and then it went, "Oh yeah, you have to pay for it."
Yeah, that was cool.
that was that was something else, man. Like, how are you going to introduce this welcome tour game and then tell me that I got to pay for it? And I wouldn't be surprised if they charge $20 for it too.
It would be rough.
No, I won't be 20. It's going to be 70 or 60. Come on.
No, I mean, what? There's nothing gamified about that game. It's literally just an
They had a mini golf
manual.
hole.
Well, it has like mini games in it.
Yeah,
I'll be more it'll be more funny when they introduce like the OLED Switch and they have to like release like a version 2.0 of that thing. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that was
it was definitely. The fact that Nintendo didn't even do like a trailer, like they didn't even show like they have not put that into a trailer by itself because they know it's not something that people are. Hey, at least we know that we got the GameCube for Switch Online. So, you know,
it's a good improvement. I mean, obviously it's only 3 games to start, but like all of the other ones, it just is a slow trickle feed of stuff.
Yeah,
I do have fun because I rarely play my Switch. My daughter plays mine mostly, and my son does his own stuff with his. But I do have fun every like 3 or 4 months just getting on those virtual console lists and just seeing what was new. It makes it feel like a lot has happened because I only check every few months instead of every week or whatever. But yeah, it's another system that they can start throwing in there, and in a couple of years, hopefully we got a good collection of that stuff.
Are you disappointed that you're not getting the HTV Masters now because they're doing this?
No.
Or
no, I think this is what people. It's what people remember. Right? It's more in line with their memory of it. So sure, I'm pissed you can't just buy it outright, or just can't. If you want to buy TV radio, you just can't do it how you want.
yeah, I don't understand what the big deal is with them of like, why can't you do what Sony does with their PS Classics, right? Where they are available in the subscription, but you can also buy them separately.
Yeah,
like, I don't understand. Are you that worried that no one will subscribe to your thing if you let them buy the games outright? Like,
as we know, with any of these technologies or subscription services or anything like that, Nintendo is 10 years behind.
But they already had that with the virtual console. They literally just have to make them available.
But the moment that the Wii went away, they went, "Oh, now you can buy them all again. It's going to be great. Everyone's going to love it." And everyone went, "No, I did it once."
Do you guys think I should have mentioned this when I talk about the price. Do you guys think the price is fair?
Yeah,
$450.
Yeah, I was predicting 4.
Were you expecting it to be lower? Or is that...
Yeah, I predicted slightly lower, but I thought it was going to be like 450 is not out of the realm. I think that is a suitable price, especially because with the Mario Kart being 500, and like Marc was saying, most people are going to go for that one anyways because they want Mario Kart 500 with an $80 game. Yeah, it seems to work.
I'm split. Like the console itself, the price is fine, but the game price, that's the crazy thing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, for me, I don't really care about the price because that's a one-time thing, and it being $450 is still less than what we paid for PlayStations and Xboxes. And they definitely have shown you that it was worth, as far as like the specs of what the system could do, it is worth the upgrade, right? If you're into that, as far as like getting your games in 4K and all that stuff, and then the fact that it doesn't look like there's going to be updates to several games, including like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think Odyssey is getting an update. Even some smaller stuff like the Game Garage and whatnot are getting like free updates that will like improve the game. But a lot of, as we saw, right, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, you have to buy a Switch 2 edition, which they did not give you the price on.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on what those are going to be.
Yeah, like what is the upgrade path? Are we talking about the $10 that you pay for on PlayStation side? Or are we talking about more? Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This cycle makes me think that like if Iwata was still alive, this thing would be lower. Either the price of the Switch 2 would be lower, or the games would be regular priced.
I think that has more to do with the politics than it does them actually wanting to raise the price. I think it's them basically trying to avoid having to do a price increase later when you have already gotten accustomed to, okay, this is what the games are going to. Now you automatically know when you buy this system, okay, be prepared. The games are more expensive now. So you know that going in instead of, oh, it's been a year with this. And now you're going to jump up the price to 80? Like,
But again, I bring back the point that Nintendo is, and this is not a knock or anything, it's more for casual fans, and that's why it sold a bajillion systems and stuff. So the fact that they did not put any of that information, and we still don't know how much the upgrades are going to cost. The fact that they hid that stuff into the internet where gamers like us that will scour stuff to get answers, and we watch other people that will give us those answers. We know that Mario Kart is going to be $80. There are a lot of people, like my brother-in-law included, that watched that event and then went, but how much is the Switch? And then I told him, and then he asked, and I go, but you won't even believe what the game is going to cost you. And he was shocked by that. Again, they're not going to go out and try to find that answer. So when the Switch comes out, they're going to go, wait, what? And then from then on, the president has been set. But I just wish that they would have put this stuff in it. Just own it. Like PlayStation and Xbox have both had really high price systems. Look at the PS5 Pro. The price of that was brutal, but they owned it. Own this stuff and not just put it in the little baby text of, oh, by the way, this game you thought should be a packing game, it has to cost you money, and then everything else we're just not going to tell you, and then we'll drip feed it on our little app thing later, and then you'll forget about it.
It was really weird when the developer, like the third party guys, were talking, and they're like, oh, it'll be released this day, or it'll be like this game is coming out the day of the Switch 2 release. And it's like, why didn't they, I mean, I don't know when they filmed those things, but it's like,
well, they because they wanted to do their special part in the thing where they said, okay, the Switch 2 comes out June 5th. So they didn't want,
and I don't know if
go ahead, at the front, not at the back.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. Maybe things got switched around where they were going to show the date and stuff at the end. So like they wanted to build it up, and then I don't know why they ended up showing that again when at the end you don't have a price or anything. I don't understand why at the 15-20 minute mark you're like, all right, here's the date, now here's 40 more minutes of this stuff, and then you're thinking, all right, at the end that's when we're going to get if there's other SKUs or how much money things are going to cost. So it was interesting that they put the date where they did, and then again, as Mark said, then you got all these third party people going, oh yeah, when the Switch comes out, our game's out. Like that felt like it was going to be this big buildup. It's like, oh yeah, the launch title is going to be great, but when? And then you find out it's in June, and then you get really excited. But some interesting Nintendo choices is what you're always going to get in these things.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Nintendo choices, they showed off this. It looks like it's from the ARMS team called Dragon Drive, which is like wheelchair basketball essentially. And they want you to use the mouse controls.
Yes.
How much are you going to use these mouse controls?
Never. Because who cares?
Well, for this game, apparently you have to. But it's
yeah, but people are going to play this game for like 5 minutes and then either get tired or get bored and then, delete it or move on with their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the most mouse support I'm going to give, at least from the games that we've seen, of course, is Mario Party. And that's just because they've thrown some of that stuff in it. I will say real quick that I did find that trailer really funny because, again, as a fan of Maximilian Dude, he does his pre-stream bets where he'll give out free subs or whatever. And he went, all right, we're going to get the sequel to ARMS. It's going to be called Legs. And then instead of a game called Legs, it was a game where you can't use your legs and you had to use your own wheelchair. That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the mouse controls, it's a good thing because it does allow them to port, I think, games that maybe they couldn't in the past, or like they show with like Civ 7, right? You can use the mouse controls, so it feels more natural. I mean, you can bring stuff from PC before that you couldn't.
Like Civ 7 is already on consoles, though. It's not like
it is, yeah,
but now you can do the whole mouse thing where it feels better on PC. I'm still hooked on Balatro, but I wouldn't mind having it where I have mouse support so I can move things around. Because sometimes with the controller,
I think it's great for. They showed a Metro Prime 4, you can use it, and I think that's great for shooters. Like when you bring Call of Duty over, people that love to use mouse controls, that makes it easier for you to use that way. So I think it has its purpose. It is the one thing that makes it different than Switch 1, other than the graphical enhancements. So I want to see more games that maybe it's an option and perhaps makes the game flow better. I don't want to see a lot of games like Dragon Drive where it's forced on you, because I didn't want to use the Wii Waggle when I had to use the Wii Waggle, and I don't want to be forced to do that with this either.
Yeah, that's fair. Having it as an option, I think, in some games will be really good. But
yeah, I think for the most part, they kind of there was I did not expect that the game you're going to show before Donkey Kong, your other big tease is Kirby Air Ride 2. Obviously, it's the Sakurai game that he's been working on. That's not Smash, but I was like, all right. I did not expect that. I didn't put that on the bingo card at all. Any of y'all, either one of you, fans of Kirby Air Ride, or
no? I don't think I played it. I want to talk about the trailer that happened right before Kirby, though. I'm not a big fan of FromSoft games, but what in the world? I think that was the biggest shock of the whole thing.
Yes,
a Switch 2 exclusive,
thing, but that's more like Night Rain. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people were very, very excited for that game. As soon as they found out that it was PvPvE, they weren't that excited about it.
That's when Jens turned on it.
Yeah, because it's very much like it's Night Rain. It's another Night Rain, essentially.
Yeah. But I just the fact that a FromSoft game is an exclusive on the Switch 2.
No, that is huge. That is huge, no doubt. No doubt. I think there's going to be, it's just like what you said. This is going to be a game that a lot of people are going to buy because it says FromSoft on it, and they're going to have no idea that it's a multiplayer game. And they're going to go, oh, shoot. Okay. I bought it, so I guess I'll play.
Right.
But it is being the Night Rain is not being made by Miyazaki at all. This one actually has Miyazaki's hand. So maybe there's going to be more stuff in it than, Night Rain or. You said Jens turned on it, Mark, but like, are you interested in it at all, or?
No, because it sounds like you have to beat up the other players to get to the boss, and it's like I'm not that competitive a guy. I don't really care that much, so I'd rather just beat up on the boss itself, not have to deal with a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting in a way that, like, live service has become this thing of like almost a lot of the games are kind of samey, right? Like, at least they're trying to do something different with your multiplayer games.
Mm-hmm.
So if this kind of helps Bandai Namco and FromSoft by extension be able to kind of make other games, then
they're not a small they're not. It's not like they're hurting for money, or like what the.
But everybody wants that cash cow that they can just keep updating and doing stuff with. And this technically has, like, I guess you're a vampire in this game, and it does have feels like a different premise than say Elden Ring did. So, I mean, for Nintendo, this is huge. Like Randy was saying, like.
Yeah.
To get probably one of the most, or if not the most popular developer outside of Nintendo themselves to make an exclusive game for you, like, what does that say? How
it's like Nintendo of old at that point, because how long has it been since we've seen something like that? It's like third parties and Nintendo just haven't ever gotten along like that. It's always been, all right, well, we'll do a sad port to the little brother.
I mean, that'll be 2 years from now.
Yeah. I mean, they also did announce that we're getting Elden Ring on Switch too. So,
I mean, they announced a whole bunch of old games coming to the Switch too. So,
yeah. Remake is coming to Switch too, which I'm sure Rebirth will come.
Yeah, the fact that was announced before Xbox was able to have it was pretty wild. On top of it, I mean, yes, and I made the joke to Sean, like, throughout the day, that I've always felt like the Switch 2 had Wii U vibes. Again, not that it was going to sell like the Wii U. I think it's going to be very successful, but it has just a small iteration on a highly successful system. For this, it's the mouse controls. The other one was the very plasticky tablet, which ended up, made the Switch goes bonkers. And then you just get a bunch of ports of games that you just go, what? Yakuza is going to be on Nintendo now, and we're going way back then. It's like, again, looking over at my Wii U games, and like Watch Dogs is on that thing, and Mass Effect 3 was thrown on that system, and you just get the weirdest ports of games, and that's kind of what the Wii U was. And yeah, they spent a lot of time on games that made me go, oh, interesting. That's going to end up on a Nintendo console now. All
right. Even Silk Song was shown in a sizzle reel, which was like, man, people have been waiting for this game to get shown off, and this is where you put it.
Still no actual date.
With still no actual date. Like Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 got revealed on this thing, which is like, okay, that's huge for people, because there's a lot of people that are, Undertale is a huge cult game, and people have been waiting for these next chapters in Toby Fox's next thing in Deltarune, and that coming on Switch 2 is a big deal.
On the release of Switch 2
exactly, it's a launch game. So I was surprised that Xbox didn't have a bigger showing on this than I would have thought. Yeah, I would have thought maybe Call of Duty would have shown up on here.
At least you get Randy Pitchford. I mean,
yeah,
he's great.
Getting to show off that Borderlands 4 is going to be on.
Hey, at least you got Greg Kasavin for like 5 seconds, and that was awesome.
Yeah, Hades 2 is going to be on Switch 2. It's the only console it's on right now, which, I mean, it does follow the trend, right? It was on PC and Switch, and then it came to the other consoles. So, I guess it's going down the same route, but
Well,
there was
how about that one
yeah.
game that was so good that it broke the stream? Survival Kids.
Yes.
I, I saw all over the internet that screenshot of where it froze on the Nintendo of America
Yeah,
YouTube page. Is like this one screenshot is going to be remembered for years to come.
Was it
exactly.
weird
It's
that
just
anyone else that there was like no Ubisoft game?
no, they did show Star Wars Outlaws for like 5 seconds.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like no new Ubisoft game. Let's say that then, because
That's fair.
they're normally pretty with it, especially Nintendo
Yeah,
stuff.
all
Yeah.
this. I mean, all the sports games were. I mean, the only new one that's not been on there is WWE 2K is coming back, and then Madden was not on.
Yeah, I was shocked that Madden had not been on the Switch ever. I mean,
No,
You
FIFA
just-
has, but they
I'd
had to
always
make
assumed.
it downgraded. You know,
It's the Dreamcast of its era.
exactly. It's. I mean, that's what this kind of felt like to me too. It's like Nintendo kind of doing a victory lap for itself of saying like, look at all the publishing partners that work with us now.
Mhm.
They introduced new blood. It's not the same people that have been doing those Switch Directs previously. It's it felt like younger people kind of leading this on throughout
People
the
under
thing.
70.
Yeah,
They can't cut
Miyamoto
Miyamoto
did not.
anymore. They should have cut Miyamoto off of that wheelchair game.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the Enter the Gungeon 2, which was cool. Now it's in 3D, which was different. So are you gonna go get this at launch? I guess is my question.
I'll probably wait until a better bundle comes. Because I don't care about Mario Kart at all. So if it was
What game would make you push the button?
Donkey Kong, possibly. Mario, like 3D Mario, maybe Zelda, or Fire Emblem.
All right, fair enough.
In reality, though, Ice Climbers. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, we need a new one, a new Ice Climbers for sure.
You're not getting the Switch 2 editions of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
I didn't like those games much to begin with, so no.
Well, but now you can use the app to voice
with
guide you.
GPS.
With GPS.
I forgot about the GPS.
So,
oh man, the GPS. That moment just made me laugh. That one was really good.
it's like, all right.
For me,
GPS.
I'm still unsure about getting it at launch. I know myself, and I know I will probably break and get it. I also know my wife might break me if I get it. So that might be my excuse. But all right, they showed a lot. Obviously, Mario Kart would be great. But again, my Switch collects dust. I know the kids would absolutely love it. So I got 2 months to decide. So I'm on the fence right now.
Well, when the pre-order is open, I'll probably pre-order it. From Amazon, and then I'll have 2 months to really think about it.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is also pre-orders go live April 9th, by the way. So thank God they did not try to do it today. That's another reason I think they did not put the price in the direct, is they didn't want people thinking that there's pre-orders happening like right now. So I think that was another reason perhaps they didn't want to put that in, other than delivering, negative news.
What do you think of the physical thing? Like the carts are basically worthless.
Yeah, now they're red for one, instead of black. But they're the same size apparently. But now they have this like thing that essentially it feels like it's just made so that you can't makes it harder for you to emulate, but it doesn't actually have the cart on there.
Well, they have the data. Yeah, you have to it's a mandatory download now.
Yeah, it's essentially like when you get a special edition and you get the key code. It's like, why, right? So I feel like more people are going to go digital after they realize that you're not actually getting the physical cart with most of the games now.
And honestly, I think that's kind of where they want everyone to go anyways. That's why digital is cheaper than physical, and that's why they
Yeah.
were showing off that whole digital cart deal and trying to fix the family plan setup that they had, which they showed last week and stuff. It seems like Nintendo's basically went, again, not to get political, but with all the stuff that's going on, is like, listen, if we're going to get charged more to try to create this stuff and send it to a certain country, nah, just buy it online. We don't want to send any of that stuff anymore.
It also felt like they were just like introducing you to stuff constantly in this thing. Like, you can't use the normal SD cards anymore. You got to use the Express SD cards. Although the system does have 256 gigs of memory.
That's nothing.
It's better than the
4
32
times
gigs
more than the nothing they had before.
Before you couldn't even install like more than like one game. So at least,
I mean, you can get not the stupid Express one. You can get a 512 gigabyte micro SD card for $35 from Amazon.
Yeah, but
So,
you got to get
come
the
on.
Express one now. So how much more does that cost?
Well, I'm saying like the storage and the internal storage isn't just some like hidden SD card. Like it's some actual like flash memory. But like 256 is incredibly small by today's
Oh yeah,
standards.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's also like if you add more to it, they're gonna also have to charge you more for the system. So I don't think they wanted to go full $500 just to put more memory in the system at launch. So it makes sense. I mean, it's better than it's still cheaper than the PS5 and Xbox options for memory. So,
Yes, but those systems also come with way more memory to begin with. So
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but at least you can get most of your indie games in there or whatever. But if you're bigger games, yeah, you're definitely gonna have to start getting that.
I mean,
SD
yeah,
card.
they're gonna put Call of Duty on this thing, so that's gonna eat
For
up
sure.
80% of the hard drive as it is, or the storage as it is. So great.
Yeah, if that's the only game you play, then I guess you're good. But for sure. Yeah, but I mean, they were like constantly just between the game chat, between the SD card, between the date, between the everything else is like, okay, you're gonna do this and this and this. And did you see the actual how you do game sharing thing on the previous direct, Randy?
Yeah. Do I know how it works? No.
No.
I need the PlayStation version of it where they just hand the thing over and this is how you share your game. But
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. We don't have a family plan, so I don't know. I've heard that those that had it said it was really bad before, and it just should improve it. But as somebody that's never messed with it, it just seemed complicated.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there like any game you wish was shown off that we didn't see in this?
Oh, Mario, just 100%. I mean, I get why they wait, because again, their first party stuff for the most part is coming out in the first couple of months. What Mario Kart is a launch, and Donkey Kong is a month or two after it. Still have no idea when Metroid's coming out. I was dead set that was a launch game until they showed it last week in the Switch One deal, and still didn't put a date on the darn thing, and barely showed it here other than you could use the mouse. So. They got a lot of stuff. It's just I'm a Mario guy, so I'm excited for that. And then of course, anytime they can bump up Mario Party is totally fine with me.
I'd like a legitimate Star Fox game because we haven't had one since 1997.
That is one that is just, it feels like a pipe dream at this point. A Star Fox or I just had another one in my head. What did they? The F-Zero. If that was popping in my head.
Right.
Yeah, especially
like
now.
A new good F-Zero is just tough. How about Punch Out? Can we get a Punch Out, man? I mean, I know all the Punch Out games are very racist, but We could make a non-racist Punch Out, maybe.
I think the last one didn't do that hot. If
Yeah,
I'm
the Wii
not
one was.
mistaken.
Yeah. That's when they
So
introduced
that
us
was
to
kind
the
of
balance
their.
board and crap like that.
Yeah, I know. I just
The GameCube getting the F-Zero game kind of
That cemented
basically put it in.
no new F-Zero ever.
Even though it's hilarious that once again they have an indie version of an F-Zero game that's coming out. Just it's like the first Switch, they had that Fast RMX or whatever that came out on launch as well. It's like Nintendo's like cool with promoting another company using, doing an F-Zero game, but they won't do it themselves. Right. So it's like, all right.
I will say to answer your question here right at the end, even though it's not something that I would really want, but something I was shocked was not part of this was no Mario Paint like game with the, again, I thought that was a slam dunk with the mouse feature. Maybe it's down the line, but like put that as a launch deal
or Mario Maker 3.
Yeah, I expect that. I didn't know if that was going to be a launch thing, but I do expect that in the life cycle of the Switch too. But yeah, I just thought some simple version of Mario Paint would have been just a perfect tie-in.
Even if it was just like the SNES version of Mario Paint,
yeah,
it's like, hey, you can use the mouse in this. It'll still be like $45.
That is fair. The one game I did think was a free packing game. They're going to make us pay for it, so I should have known better as far as Nintendo. Sean, what about you? What was something that you wish was on this thing?
Astrobot.
I mean, Mario for me was the one that I was just like, wow, really? We're really not going to show this here. I guess they're waiting for they have that direct in June that they still have to do,
and that should come out right after the Switch 2 comes out. And has it come out? Where's the Odyssey team? The ones that are making this Donkey Kong game? Because it looks very similar.
I think that's the speculation, but we know how Nintendo is about they don't like to tell you who the developer is for their games. So until the game comes out, then you find out or whatever. But that's the whole idea, is that apparently it is Bonanza's being made by the Odyssey team because of how it looks and
So you would assume that Mario is not close.
I was surprised, that there was no Fire Emblem as well, with as much as they always seem to really push Fire Emblem, that there wasn't some kind of Fire Emblem here.
I can see that being announced in June, like is like a more end of the year type of thing, possibly, or like early next year.
I also I would think that like you got to think you got Mario Kart and you got Donkey Kong and you have the Kirby racing game this year. Nintendo does do a good job of kind of spreading stuff out whenever Metroid comes out. So you got to assume next year is when a Fire Emblem could happen, an Animal Crossing could happen. Like a lot of people, that's the one thing I know is everyone's like, "Oh, where's this? Where's that? Where's that?" It's like they're not going to like unload everything.
Yeah, they're not going to show 40 other games or whatever and be like, "Here you go. I'm going to shoot our water."
We got spoiled with the Switch because they showed Zelda and Mario, but those were all released 7-8 months apart. But
it was all about the launch window, and they had one huge game every month.
Yeah, but they needed to nail that one because they were coming off the Wii U. They didn't have to nail this one because the Switch is so successful. So I think they can spread
Mario Kart World. People are going to be playing that thing like forever. So they people will buy that game and be fine until Donkey Kong comes out or whatever. So I mean, like right now, this is the actual lineup for launch, unless we have other third parties that announce that they are, but it's like the Bravely Default HD remaster, Civ 7, which is already out, but it's going to get a Switch 2 edition, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, the complete version of Deltarune, Fortnite, which obviously got to have that Fast Fusion game, which is the game I mentioned is like F-Zero. Kanitsugami Path of the Goddess, Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition, Hogwarts Legacy, which already exists on the Switch, is going to have a Switch 2 version, Mario Kart World, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, the Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, which I'm sure Mark is excited about, Street Fighter 6, that Rune Factor game, Nobunaga's Ambition, Survival Kids, Split Fiction, the 2 Zelda Switch 2 editions, and Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which has new new cutscenes.
Yeah.
So I guess that's now the official best version of Yakuza 0. And I'm sure that's coming to other consoles too.
I thought it was real interesting that there's a whole bunch of Switch games that aren't compatible yet.
Yeah, that too. Right.
Like and the ones that you would expect would be on the list aren't. Like I don't think Labo will be compatible with this thing.
Oh, definitely not. I think that was pretty much them admitting that it will not be.
I don't think Ring Fit will be either. But like, South
they got to
Park,
make another Ring Fit, man.
Or Rocket League. Like, why isn't that compatible? Or what's the deal?
Because they want you to buy Dragon Drive. That's right. No, but was anybody kind of surprised that essentially it looks like there's not going to be like a game boost kind of thing with your Switch 1 games?
No, because you'd expect too much from Nintendo at that point.
I think once modders get a hold of it and they crack that thing open, there will be.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the DLSS that's supposedly in this thing will make it to where your Switch 1 games have like a decent frame rate or whatever, but they will not like automatically get boosted to run 60 FPS or whatever. That's what the Switch 2 edition is for. I also think that there's probably either you're going to get free updates for some of those games, or there's more Switch 2 editions that they haven't announced yet that are going to happen eventually. Predictions on the price for that, or you think they're going to do $10? You think they're going to be more?
I hope 10, but I'm going to predict 20, especially for like the Kirby and the Mario Party where they added a lot of stuff. I think they're going to use that as a reasoning to basically make it like a DLC. So I'll say 20.
I think it'll be 100 for that Zelda thing, the Zelda GPS.
Right.
The Zelda GPS.
I would spend $100 on that if like different Nintendo characters were thrown in as the voice for the GPS.
Yeah, Mario or
I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they add more to that. Whether you have,
I need Wario telling me where to go in Zelda.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love it. But yeah, that's it. We know it's coming June 5th. Pre-order is April 9th. $450 or $500 if you want to get the whole thing. Your Pro Controller 2 is going to cost $80. Any Joy-Cons you buy are going to cost $90. The camera is $50 if you want that. And if you want to get the dock, it's $110. So get ready to spend some money aside from just buying the console.
Yep.
You're going to be spending probably like double that if you want. Man, that Pro Controller, that Pro Controller 2 looks so good.
I mean, did they say if the old one would work?
They did say that the old one does work. Yes.
So who cares? I don't care about the C button.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the back buttons either.
I was going to say that was the main thing, was the back button.
You could get the GameCube controller too, So
everyone's favorite.
Yeah, right.
AKA Nintendo's worst controller.
Even though that's locked too, you have to be a Switch Online member or whatever to go buy it. But they do allow you to pre-register your interest in whichever one you want to buy, whether it's the pack-in or the regular edition. So I don't know if that means that they're going to be doing where you can buy the game on the Nintendo website or the system on the Nintendo website as well, aside from that stuff. So I guess go pre-order your interest. You might get an email, and who knows? So if you want to go buy
it from Amazon though, or because they won't charge me for 2 months.
No, I agree with that. That's where I'm going to be aiming to hopefully buy it off of is Amazon. That's where I got, I think, my Xbox, the Switch, I had to get the PS5 through direct, but it is what it is. I will be happy with whoever lets me buy the thing,
right?
So I can have it launched. I
like,
hope it's not
Target,
going to be nuts, but I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, I expected to break the internet.
Hopefully they announce some times at some point and not just like, oh, you got to stay up till like 12 in the morning and hope to God it doesn't release.
Oh, I think it'll be happening during the day. It'll be like 11 a.m. or whatever.
Usually it's like 10 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but all right. I mean, this time next week, I guess we'll know who got one.
How bad it went, yeah.
Right.
But all right, thank you guys for
Yep.
being on this thing, and we'll be back on Monday for the regular show. See y'all later.
Later.